She'll pretend you meant nothing. She'll act like she's fine, smiling, posting, laughing like she's moved on. She'll say she's happy now, maybe even tell people she's finally free. But deep down, something doesn't match the picture. Because no matter how far she runs, no matter who she talks to, no matter how loudly she tries to prove she's over it, she can't let you go. And the reason why has nothing to do with love the way you think it does. You see, when a man walks away in silence, when he stops explaining, defending, or chasing, it doesn't just end a relationship. It interrupts her sense of control. Women don't miss your presence immediately. They miss the emotional certainty you once gave them. When that's gone, it leaves an empty space they can't fill with distractions or validation. And even if she's surrounded by people, there's a quiet in her mind that keeps asking, why isn't he reacting? That question becomes obsession. Because what she thought was power now feels like confusion. What she believed was closure now feels like unfinished business. And nothing haunts the mind more than a story that didn't end on her terms. This is why she checks your profile, why she watches your stories but never likes them, why she tries to look unbothered while secretly waiting for your next move. It's not about missing the old moments. It's about missing the feeling of being seen by a man who didn't need her to feel whole. So when she acts like you meant nothing, understand. It's not that she's over you. It's that she's fighting what she feels. And the more she hides it, the stronger it grows. Because the hardest thing to forget is not love itself. It's the peace she once felt in your presence. Let's dive in. Number 1, the ego versus emotion conflict. The reason she can't let you go, even when she acts like she has, is because her ego and her emotions are now at war. And you're the battlefield. Her ego tells her to move on, to forget you, to pretend she never cared. It wants her to look strong, independent, and untouchable. But her emotions don't listen. They remember the calm in your voice, the steadiness in your presence, the quiet safety you carried without even realizing it. Every time she tries to erase you, her heart keeps replaying the moments when she felt most alive. And those moments all trace back to you. You see, the ego hates losing control. And nothing breaks a woman's ego faster than a man who stays calm while walking away. Most men argue, beg, or try to prove their worth. You didn't. You left the conversation unfinished, and that's what her ego can't handle. You became an unanswered question, and the human mind cannot let go of what it can't understand. That's why she keeps revisiting your memory, not because she misses the relationship, but because she's trying to solve the mystery of why you're not chasing her anymore. On the surface, she acts cold, detached, maybe even superior. She tells her friends she's done. But late at night, when the noise fades, her emotions start whispering the truth her ego doesn't want to hear. She still feels you. She still thinks about how you made her feel seen, and how she's trying to find that same peace in people who can't give it to her. And every time she fails to find it, she remembers you, not because she wants to, but because she can't help it. This is the hidden tension you've created, the emotional imbalance that makes her ego fight for control while her heart quietly aches for connection. She can't admit it, because admitting it would mean admitting that you mattered. So instead, she hides behind the act. But inside, that conflict keeps burning. The stronger her pride, the louder her silence. And that's where your power truly lives. Not in what you said, but in what you didn't. Number 2, why she still feels your energy. Even after time passes, even after she swears she's done, she still feels you. Not because you're talking to her, not because you're posting for her, but because your energy still lingers in her emotional memory. Every connection we make leaves an imprint. It's invisible, but real. You were once the calm in her chaos, the stillness in her storm. Your voice, your eyes, your silence, all carried an energy that her mind associated with peace. And peace is something people never forget, even when they lose it. When you walk away with calmness instead of anger, your energy doesn't vanish. It stays in the space between what was said and what was left unsaid. She feels it in small moments, when a song plays that once reminded her of you, when she sees a man who dresses like you, or when she has a quiet moment and her thoughts wander back to the one person who didn't demand attention but commanded presence. You see, you didn't just occupy her time, you occupied her emotional frequency. Here's what most men don't understand. Women are deeply intuitive. They can feel when your energy is still chasing them, when you're checking, waiting, hoping. But they can also feel when you've truly detached. And that shift terrifies them, because when your energy no longer reaches toward her, she starts to feel its absence like a missing heartbeat. That's when her curiosity becomes restlessness. She wonders why she can't sense you anymore. She wonders what changed inside you. That wondering becomes the beginning of missing you. It's not your messages she misses. It's your energy, that silent confidence that once surrounded her. And no matter how many people she meets, she won't find that same feeling again, because it wasn't just chemistry. It was depth. You didn't just give her excitement. You gave her emotional gravity. And now that you're gone, that gravity has turned into space. A space her mind keeps falling back into. That's the reason she still feels you. Because peace leaves a louder echo than passion ever could. Number 3, the power of unfinished emotion. When something ends suddenly without closure, the human mind refuses to let it go. That's the invisible power of unfinished emotion. It lingers, it replays, it builds stories where silence lives. She tells herself she's over you, but her subconscious doesn't believe it, because it never got to finish the story. There was no explosion, no clear goodbye, no emotional the end. You simply went silent. And that silence became a cliffhanger that her mind keeps returning to again and again. Psychologists call it the Zeigarnik effect, the tendency for people to remember incomplete experiences longer than complete ones. Her brain treats you like an unfinished chapter, one that refuses to close because it's waiting for resolution. Every time she thinks about you, it's her mind's attempt to finish the story. But because you remain calm, unreactive, and unreachable, her mind keeps looping the same scene, searching for closure it will never find. That's why she dreams of you randomly. That's why your name crosses her thoughts when she least expects it. It's not because she's trying to, it's because her brain is trying to understand. And here's where it becomes powerful. The more she tries to explain your silence, the deeper she feels it. She thought you'd break. She thought you'd text, argue, beg. But you didn't. And that created emotional tension. Because when someone expects drama and gets peace instead, their mind doesn't know what to do with it. Peace becomes a mystery. That mystery is what keeps you alive in her thoughts. Not love, not nostalgia. Unfinished emotion. You see, humans are not addicted to closure. They're addicted to searching for it. She might date someone new. She might pretend she's healed. But somewhere in the quiet of her thoughts, she's still trying to make sense of how you walked away without explaining. And that confusion keeps you there, in her dreams, her emotions, her silence. You became the story that never ended. The one she keeps rereading even when she swears she's moved on. Number 4, when silence becomes her obsession. At first, she celebrated your silence. She thought it meant victory. He finally gave up, she told herself. He's out of my life. But as days turned to weeks, that silence stopped feeling like peace. It started feeling like pressure, because silence, when it comes from strength, doesn't fade. It grows heavier with time. You see, most men react. They text back. They explode. They make noise. But you didn't. You did something rarer. You vanished into stillness. That stillness confused her ego and awakened her emotions. Every time she picked up her phone and saw no message from you, her curiosity deepened. Every night she scrolled past your profile to see if you'd posted something, her heart betrayed her. The silence started to echo in her mind, not because she missed talking to you, but because she couldn't predict you anymore. And what people can't predict, they start to obsess over. This is how silence turns into control. Your absence makes her question her power. She thought she could read you. She thought she knew your patterns. But the man who once reacted now moves in mystery, and that mystery is magnetic. It pulls her thoughts back to you like gravity. She won't admit it. She'll distract herself, talk to others, post pictures meant for your eyes. But every action hides one truth. She's reacting to your silence. She's trying to see if you'll notice, if you'll break, if your calm is real. Because deep down, she knows what most won't say. A man who can stay silent holds emotional power that no words can compete with. Silence isn't empty. It's full of messages. It says, I'm not angry. I'm just done. It says, you no longer have access to my energy. And that's what truly haunts her. Not the loss of attention, but the loss of influence. The more you stay silent, the more her mind fills the space with emotion. And eventually, that silence doesn't sound peaceful to her anymore. It sounds like regret. Number 5. Why her mind keeps returning to you. No matter how far she goes, her mind always circles back to you. She can talk to other people, fill her days with noise, and convince herself she's free. But in her quiet moments, you're still there. Not because she wants you to be, but because the emotions connected to you were never truly resolved. Every human being has emotional anchors, moments so powerful they stay linked to specific people. And you became one of those anchors in her life. You see, when you were around, you weren't just a boyfriend or a lover. You were her emotional mirror. You reflected back her softness, her vulnerability, her desire to be seen. You knew how to stay calm when she was chaotic, how to listen when she was loud. That contrast created safety, and the brain remembers safety the way a body remembers warmth. Once it's gone, everything else feels colder. So now, even though she acts distant, her subconscious keeps searching for that same feeling, that same emotional gravity. It's why she finds herself comparing other men to you, even if she doesn't say it out loud. It's why no one else feels quite the same. Because you didn't just touch her heart, you shaped her emotional standard. You showed her how it feels to be understood without words. And here's the irony. The more she tries to forget you, the more she strengthens that emotional memory. Suppression doesn't erase emotions, it amplifies them. Every time she pushes the thought of you away, she feeds it with energy. That's why her mind keeps returning to you at random times, during songs, dreams, or even moments of happiness. You became part of her emotional wiring. And what's even more powerful, you're no longer giving her that energy back. She's the only one still feeling the connection, replaying the memories, keeping the story alive. That's what drives her crazy, realizing that you've moved on mentally while she's still stuck in emotional quicksand. The real reason she can't let you go isn't love or longing. It's the space you left behind. Because once a man's peace replaces his presence, no woman forgets him. Number 6. When she starts to regret losing you. Regret doesn't hit her all at once. It starts quietly, like a whisper she tries to ignore. Maybe it begins when she sees your name pop up somewhere, or when someone mentions you casually, and she feels that unexpected sting in her chest. She hides it well, of course. She'll smile, nod, act like she doesn't care. But deep down, she knows something isn't the same anymore. The man she once took for granted is no longer waiting. At first, regret feels like confusion. She doesn't even understand why she's thinking about you. But as time passes, that confusion turns into reflection. She remembers the things she dismissed: your calm, your patience, the way you listened without judgment. The small gestures she once overlooked now stand out in her memory like gold. The moments she criticized are now the moments she misses. That's how regret begins, not with missing you, but with realizing she misunderstood your value. She'll start comparing, even if she doesn't mean to. The men who came after you don't feel the same. They talk louder, but understand less. They chase harder, but lead weaker. And deep down, she starts to recognize the truth. Peace isn't boring, it's rare. She remembers how your silence didn't mean weakness, how your distance didn't mean indifference. And suddenly, the same calm she once called cold now feels like strength. That's when regret fully sets in, when she realizes she didn't lose a man who needed her. She lost a man who chose her. There's a difference. The man who needs a woman becomes replaceable. But the man who chooses her from strength? That's unforgettable. Now she replays everything differently. Every argument, every goodbye, every silence. Not because she wants to go back, but because her pride won't let her admit she'd do things differently if she could. And that pride keeps her trapped between pretending she's fine and secretly wishing she could have one more chance. Regret is a heavy feeling. But for her, it's heavier because you're not trying to make her feel it. You simply became the man she always hoped you'd be, right after she lost you. Number 7. When you become the one she can't replace. Every woman thinks she can move on easily until she meets men who make her miss the one she thought she'd forgotten. She'll try to replace you. She'll talk to new people, go out, laugh louder, smile wider, trying to convince herself that she's fine. But deep down, she knows something's missing. The connection feels thinner. The emotions feel weaker. The spark doesn't carry the same weight. Because what she had with you wasn't built on constant attention. It was built on depth, and depth can't be copied. The reason she can't replace you is simple. You became a reference point. Every new man she meets gets compared to you. How you spoke, how you stayed calm, how you understood without asking. And no matter how hard she tries to forget, her mind keeps measuring every new connection against the peace you once gave her. The truth? She doesn't miss you because of who you were to her. She misses how she felt when she was around you. That feeling of safety, of belonging, of being seen. It doesn't happen often. And when it's gone, it leaves a permanent mark. Most people mistake excitement for connection, but you gave her something deeper, emotional gravity. You didn't pull her in with promises or pressure, you pulled her in with presence. That's why she can't replace you. Because the world is full of loud men chasing attention, but very few who carry stillness and direction. You became rare the moment you stopped needing her validation. And here's the truth that hurts her the most. She thought losing you would make her free. Instead, it made her restless. Because once a woman experiences a man who leads with peace instead of noise, every other connection feels temporary. Every conversation feels shallow. Every touch feels unfamiliar. You became her standard, the one she pretends doesn't exist, but secretly compares everyone to. And deep down, she knows what she lost. Not a boyfriend, not a memory, but a man she could never fully understand. And that's what makes him unforgettable. So now you see, it was never about the texts, the moments, or even the memories. It was about the energy you carried, that rare mix of calm and certainty that made her feel something she didn't even understand at the time. The real reason she can't let you go is because she never found that energy again. You didn't just love her, you anchored her. You gave her peace without control, attention without weakness, and connection without chaos. And once a woman experiences that kind of balance, she never forgets it. It doesn't matter how many new faces come along, or how loud her world gets, your silence still echoes through it. Because your silence wasn't punishment, it was truth. It showed her who she was when the noise stopped. It made her face the reflection she avoided when she had you. You were the calm before her storm. And now that you're gone, every storm reminds her of you. You see, a woman never truly misses the man who begged or chased. She misses the man who had the strength to walk away with peace still in his eyes. The man who loved her without losing himself. The man who could have said everything, but instead said nothing. And let silence speak for him. That's the kind of presence that never fades. That's why she can't let you go. Because your absence taught her more than your presence ever could. It taught her what real stability feels like, and what it costs to lose it. So, if you've been wondering why she still watches, why she still lingers in your orbit, even when she pretends not to care, remember this. People can fake indifference, but they can't fake peace. And you became the definition of it. The truth is, she can't let you go because deep down, she knows. She already had everything she was looking for, and she was the one who let it slip away.